Morning, everybody. How we doing? I know how you doing. Sam here, Night People's TV, and it's a Sunday morning stream. Highly unusual, you might say. Man United losing away from home against the team who's in the top half of the table. That's not unusual. Hasn't been unusual for a long time. But that, I'm sure you saw. Well, some of you saw my match reaction yesterday, and I felt like doing a show this morning because I wanted to talk to everyone about it, really. I want to talk to you as a community. I want to know what your reaction to last night was, okay? Because I wish, honestly, I really, really do. I wish that I could just come on here and I could just slag the players' attitudes and point the fingers just towards them and go, oh, here we go again. Another manager getting let down by the players. And that's part of it, sure. But to do that and try and ignore massive structural, tactical problems, I think would be completely disingenuous. Erik Ten Hag's in trouble, man. And I love what he did in the first season, but my word, are we repeating patterns and mistakes and choices I think that Ten Hag is making. So what I'm going to try and do is speak through them all with you. All right. You can let me know what you think the fundamental core of the problem is, and I think importantly, what the solution is. Because there's, I suppose, two solutions you can take from this. One is you fix the problems here, or one you just replace the manager and then let's start it all again. And you know what I think about that as a solution. But Ten Hag is, well, he's reducing his own options at this point in time. I'm going to run through everything now, okay? It's going to be, this isn't just to be a show designed just to have a big old fucking moan. Although I probably will. I apologize if I swear. Man. United, man. Boy. The constant one step forward, two steps back. It has been relentless for years, that. Imagine it was last Sunday that would beat Everton. Boy, oh boy. I'm going to see who's down here from the community in the comments. Good morning to Ines Fushi. How you doing, man? Robert, Anaj, I can see you there. Off key. We've got Jack Stewart. We've got JC, Kieran, Carl, Madhouse, John Neal. How you doing? Sam. Cracking name. We've got Mick. And we've got Abby. Good morning to all of you. Who's on Facebook? James Williams. We've got Vitali. We've got Aidan Farrelly. We've got CJ Shooter, Trelawney, Professor. 10 points for Harry Potter reference. Adam and Nima. Good morning to all of you. I mean, how many times have we called this place the therapy session? This is kind of beyond the therapy session now. It's I mean, what do you say about a stat like that? What are you supposed to say about a stat like that? That is just shocking beyond belief. We really have been sort of minesweeping down the bottom half of the table and consistently doing very well, actually, in picking up points against the likes of Fulham, Luton, Sheffield United, Brentford. Not sure where Brentford are. They beat Luton yesterday. Scored 3 against Luton. Over 2 years since we won an away game against a team who starts the day in the top 8 of the table. Just reread that like again and again, and it'll make you go, "Nah, it's got to be wrong. It's got to be wrong." No, and we've only taken 3 points from a possible 39 in that period. Now, you would have seen my match reaction yesterday, and I had a lot of scorn towards the players, right? And I know that you can't. I don't think you can ever look into what managers say in press conferences too much. And Ten Hag has typically been a manager. Obviously, the Sancho situation is different from that. So there are anomalies to this rule. But typically, he's not somebody to sort of throw players under the bus in press conferences. He kind of defends his team, defends what he's seen. But sometimes it's better to not say anything than say something at all, right? This is what he said after the game. This team is resilient. We have a plan and we keep going. I mean, I'd have questioned that. What is the plan? I'll talk with my team. We stayed in the game at the end. We had some good chances. We scored a goal. It was offside. It could have been a draw. And I'm like, oh, man. Erik, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I spoke ahead of the game, my starting 11, all right? Because, and I think this is probably the kind of most, this is the worst thing you can say about last night is that none of us are coming away from that game massively surprised. Yeah, we're disappointed. But none of us are massively surprised. Because going into the game, the precise problems that I knew we would have, we had. And this here is just, I don't know how you want to try and describe what this is. But this right here is the passing network. You can see the stronger the lines are, the arrows are between two players, that means that pass was played more often in the game. So you can look there. I don't know who that is. Is that Cher? Cher and Trippier was probably one of the biggest passes that Newcastle did the whole game. Onana out to Wan-Bissaka hardly happened. But look at this, right? Let me see if I can draw. Can I get to that? That work? Look at that space, right? That's one problem. Another problem. Look how deep that defensive line is. Look at this. Look at Newcastle. Space between Nick Pope and their two centre-backs. They're playing a much higher line. Manchester United are playing with such a deep defensive line. It is killing us. It is killing us. And I said it going into the game. That's why I wanted Luke Shaw to play left centre-back, because I hoped that it would mean that Manchester United would play a little bit more on the front foot, a little bit further up the pitch. But instead, the same problems. And I look at this, right? And Harry Maguire, right? Harry Maguire was probably Man United's best defender last night. But truth be told, you cannot play a high defensive line with Harry Maguire in as a centre-back. Truth be told, you cannot expect a midfield to have control when you keep starting Scott McTominay. You cannot expect your attack to press as a unit, be collective, if you start Anthony Martial. All right? And these issues reside on the manager. The Maguire situation, right? And this is the thing. This is the thing that's going to keep... You can analyze football in kind of different ways, right? On the surface level, coming away from that yesterday, people might say, Maguire was the only player who was playing, which is correct. Maguire was the only one who really looked like he was defending well alongside Luke Shaw, which is correct. But we can't play that high defensive line. We have to sit deep. And that space between the defenders and the attackers is crazy. It's just crazy. And that right there is down to a structure. That right there is down to Erik Ten Hag. Okay? And I don't know how many times I've been saying, I don't know how many times I have to say it. You remember towards the end of, not towards the end, but when managers are under real pressure, okay? it happens every time. It happened with Solskjaer, it happened with Mourinho. When managers are under pressure, they put players in the team that they think will sort of do a job. They think will give their required efforts. Even if maybe tactically, maybe from a profile perspective, it doesn't quite bring exactly the style of football you want. You think, well, I have to play him, just in case he gets on the edge of the box for a goal threat. McTominay and Maguire got Ten Hag out of a hole. They're never going to be the players to take us forward. And the Maguire situation, I think, is kind of unfair of me because Varane, I don't think is going to. Would Varane have changed much? Maybe, but not much at all. And the thing is, right, when I understand why Ten Hag is logic-ish about not playing Varane at left centre-back, but if you're not even going to bloody play it out from the back with the ball, then what does it even matter if you've got Varane playing at left centre-back? Why would it be that much of an issue? Ten Hag is this is the thing. Yesterday, I think Ten Hag was the architect of a lot of his own problems in his personnel choices. Now, I'm fully aware, right? I'm fully aware that this man has not been lighting it up. But there was a reason why I wanted to see Amrabat play with Mainu from the start yesterday. And it's that right there. You cannot possibly have controlled, sustained build-up if your team is so uncompact. You can't have that much space between your defenders and your attackers. It's just not possible. And that comes down to structure of the team. Out of possession, Manchester United, we're like an enthusiastic sort of enthusiastic schoolboys. Like when we play like a man-to-man press in midfield, any team of merit, and this is probably exactly why this keeps getting exposed in these games against better opposition. Against Manchester United, you set up for the week. You go, right, okay, so what are they going to do? We know they're going to press us. We know they're probably going to press us man-to-man, which means that they are probably going to be pulled out of position quite often. So all we got to do, lads, just pass. If you can beat one person in the press, you are going to find gaping holes in that midfield. And let's expose those. Let's run straight towards goal. I said this before the game, right? Not that one. 1 second here. Let me get this photo up properly. I said this before the game was the problem, right? We spoke after the Galatasaray game. There was so much conversation around Onana and this, and Onana made horrendous mistakes. Yes, he did. But I said the bigger problem was the fact that Manchester United were consistently conceding an insane amount of shots. 71 shots we conceded in the 4 games going into Newcastle. You know what that total is now? Newcastle had 22 shots. Yeah, only 4 on target. That's irrelevant. People are like, all these shots are blocked. Yeah, but our goal is consistently under pressure. I don't know how it was only 1-0, right? I don't know how it was only 1-0. But that's now 93 shots we've conceded in 5 games. Just think about that for a second. 93 shots. It's balmy, right? It's absolutely balmy. And the reason I suppose up until this point, been not very, I suppose I have been quite resilient against criticism of Ten Hag, is because I saw what I saw last season, and I remember what I saw last season. When everybody was pulling in the same direction, I saw how good we could have been. The summer did not help us. Ten Hag had too much power. We didn't have the structure in place. The money wasn't spent as well as it could have been spent. And this is why I think that Ten Hag it's not possible for Ten Hag to come out of that game yesterday without criticism, because I'm going to be going on and speaking about the players next. You're damn right I'm going to be speaking about the players. I think 8 out of the 11 yesterday started under Ragnick still. But then and you can correctly say that the players are a massive part of this problem, because they are. But then I see Højlund on the bench yesterday. I see Anthony on the bench yesterday. And I see Martial and Rashford's approach and attitude stinking out the place. Reeks. Højlund and Anthony were on the bench. So that was a bit of a choice. McTominay in midfield, an absolute ghost. But Amrabat's on the bench. So Ten Hag has taken a choice to play him there. Well, to not play him there. So as much as I want to just sit here and just point towards the players and say that all the problems lie with them, I think that would be wrong. I'm going to go down. I feel like I've been speaking for about 10, 15 minutes. I haven't really been answering any of your questions down there. Has anybody got any questions they want to ask? Fire them in the comments, all right? And I'll try and speak through it with you now. It's not a therapy room anymore. It's just like a. I don't know what to describe it. It's at this point, right, where you always get like the chicken or the egg. Is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it the club? And truth be told, everything contributes to it. Absolutely everything contributes to it. Speaking of contributors, Anuj, how you doing down there, man? Thank you very much. Even on today of all days, the community comes together and invites 5 more of you into the hub. Big up to you, Anuj. This is only going to get a little tickle. Can't handle any more than that. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Josh, you're saying, do I think the players have given up? No, like you can watch how we played a few days earlier against Galatasaray. But truth be told, it's wildly unsustainable. This Newcastle team played against PSG midweek with no subs. Didn't make 1 sub. And they can still do that. Sure, they may have had an extra day's rest. I imagine that played part of it. Yeah, sure. But the thing that annoyed me was United in the last 5 minutes just kind of went, boo, woke up. Hello, we can start playing ball now. Oh, we've got a little bit of energy. Oh, we can do overlapping runs. Oh, we just forgot to do it for the first 85 minutes. Richard, you're not happy with Rashford. Michael, you're saying, what does Rashford have to do to be dropped? And I think, hey, look, that's what I'll do now. So this show, I promise I do try to make it as interactive as possible. But let's move on to now speak about the players. And I will start with Marcus Rashford, okay? Because, we had this sign before Fulham, didn't we? Play like you mean it. And it's such a sad indictment that fans feel correctly justified to bring that banner and put it in the away end. And last night after the game, Steve McLaren telling the players to go back out there and give their thanks to the support from those United fans. Because, man, imagine that. Like, you are traveling to Newcastle for an 8 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday night. It's -4. And that is the level of performance that you see from your players. Genuinely, it's unforgivable. And for a player who last season really sort of course he did. He blossomed. He emerged as what I thought was going to be one of our new leaders under Erik Ten Hag. I thought Rashford last season, Casemiro, obviously, Luke Shaw, and Martinez. All of them are gone. Rashford, for his form, is in the bin. Casemiro, he's not been Casemiro this season. Martinez, he's been missing the entire season. And Luke Shaw has missed about 75% of it through injury. And somebody speak to me about Rashford now. Please. Somebody give me a solution. Oh, yeah, don't worry. A big reason why Rashford's form has been bad is Luke Shaw's not been playing. But then when Luke Shaw comes back, Rashford's playing on the right. And again, I'm saying this like Ten Hag, man. Playing Rashford out on the right-hand side when you're playing Rasmus Højlund through the middle kind of makes sense. Understand the logic of that. Rashford's not anywhere near as effective on the right-hand side when he's actually playing good. But at least if you play Rashford on the right-hand side, you're probably more likely to get crosses into Højlund. And I think we should be feeding him because he clearly is a very good goal scorer when you give him chances. Play Rashford on the right-hand side when you've got Martial in the middle. What are you going to get? You're going to get sweet FA. And Rashford's performance yesterday. I mean, for me, Livramento was their man of the match. I've watched him I think in probably like 3, maybe 4 Newcastle games I've watched this season. Livramento is an absolute baller, man. Like a proper athlete. Positionally sound, really, really strong. Very good going for you. He's a wicked player, man. Nice signing by Newcastle. Really smart signing. But Livramento and Gordon, man, they had that left side on toast. I don't know who played worse, Wan-Bissaka or Rashford. Honestly. But Marcus Rashford, because of who Marcus Rashford was last season, he was the man. He was the player that you look towards, sort of for the example. Just off the ball, on the ball. And this is the thing, right? When you've got Manchester United setting up in a shape like this, and you've got your forwards who are so isolated because the midfield isn't behind them, this is where the blame game starts, right? This is where the blame game starts. Because the forwards are going to be angry that there's no support, so they're going to start not putting in as much effort. And then you go, well, who's the problem here? What is it? The players? Then is it the managers? Is it the tactics? And it's whatever you want to call it. The way that Rashford played, it's just unforgivable, man. It's inexcusable. I'm going to go down and read a few of your comments. Let me see what you're saying. Cats, you're saying it's either the boys don't want to play for Ten Hag or the coach is failing the players. We did play against Galatasaray. We went 2-0 up against Galatasaray. Same system, same players. We went 2-0 up. It worked. But Newcastle are a better team than Galatasaray. This tactical approach from Ten Hag, it's just simply not working against opposition who have as much and more quality than us. And of course, that comes down to recruitment. But then I say that so much of Ten Hag's money spent was sitting on the bench yesterday. Rashford was worse than everyone. Wan-Bissaka tried his best. I mean, I'm not sure he did, James. I'm really not sure he did. Wan-Bissaka was poor against Galatasaray as well. So what Ten Hag said after the game, because look, he works hard every day. I don't doubt that Rashford's a very good trainer. I don't doubt that probably the majority of these players are very good trainers because Ten Hag's quite a strict disciplinarian. But on the pitch, it's just not translating. And I'm going to keep going over it again and again and again. But that right there, look how compact Newcastle are. Look at the space between their 2 centre-backs and their midfield. Look at Manchester United. Zoom in on bloody this. Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes have got the same position on the pitch. How does that happen? Is Kobbie Mainoo being told to drive forward rather than be the player who just sits in front of the defence? Ten Hag was an architect of a lot of his own problems yesterday and repeated problems. Chris, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. You're saying the bare minimum as a professional footballer is to give your all. That's your job. Dock their week's wages and reimburse the away fans. Are we really having this conversation again? I don't think you're wrong there, Chris. Are we really having this conversation again? Jonathan saying, what happened to the Saturday show? Well, it didn't happen. That's what happened to the Saturday show. I apologise about that. That's why we're doing a Sunday show. Rashford's going to get a lot of the scorn, and so he should, right? But honestly, man, you can look everywhere across this pitch. Martial must be getting towards a testimonial. But I said it in the I said it in my match reaction. I don't care. I do not care how many little dinked finishes, how many little flashes of brilliance I might see from Anthony Martial. I do not want him at my football club. I want Manchester United to move Anthony Martial on, shake hands, good luck elsewhere. Let's move the fuck on. We cannot do it because of his wages. But Ten Hag started him. Now, I'm guessing that Højlund wasn't fit to complete the 90 minutes. But Erik, man, it feels like you've coached this team long enough and this squad long enough to know that you are not going to get that pressing style from Anthony Martial. It is just not going to happen. So I'm surprised he started him. Wouldn't have been in my starting 11. I like the idea that it was going to be maybe a fluid front three, lots of movement, but Garnacho was the only threat that we had. And even he got he ran out of steam. The best chance we had, I remember, was Bruno with an amazing pass from Bruno. Through the space, through the lines. Garnacho went through and I think had a left foot shot. But Martial, as I said, I spoke about it. It was like you can point to so many players yesterday. There are not that many players who can come away with any sort of credit from yesterday. Right, I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna pop a little bit of Rashford back on screen, and we can just keep having a conversation. I want to know your opinions. I want to know, like, what's the solution to that? What tweaks and changes do you think? Because Erik's got to make changes, man. Like, dude, you cannot be. Well, you can be, actually. That's a lie. All right. Ten Hag went pragmatic. Started with the Burnley game, and we started getting some results. Results only. Performances didn't come. Everton away. The introduction of Kobbie Mainoo made a massive difference. It's like, damn, there he is. The Garnacho goal. Wow. What a moment. But then that Galatasaray, throwing it all away. Man, what a week as a United fan. What a week as a United fan. The highs of Everton and we had frustrations in there. The absolute wild roller coaster that was that Galatasaray game. And then just a proper humiliation away at Newcastle. Like the peaks and the troughs of the United this week. It's like a little microcosm of our football club. The swings are just insane. And it's not sustainable. You can't swing that much, man. Go down here and there's somebody who's, where is it? This comment here. Someone having a go at Bruno Fernandes saying, why are you not talking about Bruno losing the ball so much? I've said this to you before, right? I've said this to everybody before. You cannot have Maguire. You cannot have a midfield with both Bruno and McTominay in. You can only accommodate one. And if I'm going to accommodate one, I'm accommodating Bruno Fernandes. And that right there is on Erik Ten Hag. Bruno Fernandes his qualities are so good that he's worth the deficiencies that come with him. And what you do as a manager, as a team, is you build other safety nets, a support network to make sure that those weaknesses and flaws of Bruno's game don't become a problem for the team. And that when his creativity comes through, and it comes through every game, that you've covered the rest. But instead, you're playing McTominay. I've got no idea. I've got no idea how many times he touched the ball in these last few games. But Erik Ten Hag, if you do not take McTominay out of this team, you are shooting yourself in both feet. Please stop doing it. And that's on Ten Hag, man. And that's what I said, that you've now reached the point where a manager is under such intense scrutiny and pressure that they kind of default to players who they feel like they're going to really get like a bit of performance out of. It's not necessarily going to be the right one tactically or anything like that. Boy, like honestly, like peeps, I know some of you really don't like Bruno Fernandes. I know you want to go after him and why same energy towards it, blah blah blah. Bruno Fernandes is that good a player that I will be overlooking some of his problems compared to others, because I know that he is that good, and there are so many more players I'm getting rid of out of this team before I go anywhere near Bruno Fernandes. Anywhere near him. McTominay is one of them. Not because I don't think he's an awful footballer at all. I think he would be a very good player elsewhere. He'd be a very good player at Manchester United. If in the last 20 minutes of a game, we need a really aggressive number 8 who's going to reduce control, but give us a little bit more goal threat. Very good time to use McTominay, not starting him constantly. And giving away 93. Can I say it again and again and again? 93 shots conceded in the last 5 games. 93. I want to ask you this, right? I need some answers to this. Well, I don't need some answers. I'm interested to know what you think. Why is Ten Hag not starting Mainu and Amrabat together? Answer on a postcard. I'm presuming that Ten Hag still is sticking to his preseason idea of, kind of in theory on paper, 1 number 6 and 2 number 8s. And he's looking at the players there and he's thinking, well, I'd rather have McTominay as a number 8. But, mate, we all saw how Erik Ten Hag played with his team out in Ajax. We know that he loves progressive build-up from the back. And that so many chances get created at Ajax as a consequence of it. But we're just... I know that he is a manager that sort of changes his own approach according to the players he's got available. But, dude... Orky saying, be honest, Sam, you're wrong about Amrabat. Dude, well, thank you for tuning in today. I'm glad you tuned in the 2 or 3 times during the week, which I've already said that. I said I definitely over-exaggerated how impactful he could be in this team. But I'm not wrong in saying that these two should be starting together. Amrabat comes on in the last 10, 15 minutes of a game where we're chasing it, and this... What am I expecting him to do? Start them together. Let them play alongside each other. There was only one point in that game where I remember we had a little bit of passing momentum. And that was when Mainu and Bruno were within like 10 yards of each other in midfield. Because they could actually just pass it 1-2, pass it round, pass it back, find a little bit of space, and it worked. Play Amrabat and Mainu together. Try it. Ten Hag has got to test and change something. Because I'll repeat this one more time. I'll probably say it more than one more time. 71 shots in 93 shots in 5 games. Erik, your midfield's not working. The defense is too deep. You can't keep repeating. I mean, you can. You're not going to get a different result. Even against lesser opposition, it turns into chaos. Against better opposition, they'll just make you look a bit shit. And Newcastle just made us look really, really bad. Newcastle just made us look awful. Like, it was really, really simple to get past our press. Because the press wasn't complete in the front unit because you got Martial there. The press was never going to happen. And Marcus Rashford's off the ball work ethic. And it's the thing. Go and watch the highlights from United against Arsenal away. And watch Rashford's tracking back. Watch his attitude. Night and day. Night and day to what we saw there. So is it fitness? He got rested midweek. You think Rashford will come into this with renewed energy? JC is saying, look, thanks, Sam. A measured response is what we need. Not, oh, we are crap. I mean, we are. We are. Right? But Ten Hag is at the... Ten Hag right now, he's at a proper crossroads. A real, genuine crossroads. What are you saying down there? Sam, you not once mentioned the fans at St. James's Park. Bouncing has a massive impact on your mentality. Dude, we went 2-0 up away at Galatasaray within 25 minutes. We showed that we can handle that atmosphere. We did it like a few days earlier. And then we let it go. I want it to work out so badly with Ten Hag. I remember last season, man. I am delighted that I've had the privilege and the opportunity to go to that Newcastle League Cup final and to enjoy that feeling, that proper, genuine feeling that you're there with like mates. There's like 7 hours, about 8 or 10 of us. We're all there together. And after the season that we'd had, and the February that we'd had, and the wins over like City and Barcelona, and then the League Cup final came up, and it was just like, it felt like for the first time in a long time, you could say with some justification, it feels like United are on the right track. Genuinely, I think I can finally say that it feels like we're heading in the right direction, and I can see where Ten Hag wants to take us. Then you compare it to now. And I can't see what happens now, all right? Please fire in your opinions and also questions as well. What happens now? Because Luke Shaw came back and played fantastic at left centre-back. But at the same time, we needed him at left-back. It is incredible and incredibly sad, actually. The injury to Martinez was just like the beginning of just we've never been the same since. Never been the same since. Right, let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. All right. Top Death Angel, we're going to end up a mid-table team or even relegation. I don't see us fighting for anything. Well, let's not go overboard. All right. I don't think we're going to be going near relegation. United were never in the right direction, never back on track, says Matt. Cool. All right. Well, that's your opinion, Mounts. I know what I felt when I was in the Newcastle game and I saw us win the League Cup final, and I thought it just felt like it was starting to click. And there was plenty of evidence to show that across the course of the season. But then since that Newcastle game, we've been on a slow decline since. Time to down tools after getting bumper contracts, and this is what it is. Like we're back in that situation now where you can easily just point the fingers at the players. And last night, I'm telling you, especially when you see The thing that made it worse for United was how Newcastle played. Like, they are a team right now that, how many injuries have they got? I think only United have had more injuries than Newcastle this season. Right now, their team is decimated. They made 0 subs against PSG, but every single duel they won. Every time there was a kind of a semi 50-50, Newcastle won it. Every time there was a free ball, it was a Newcastle player who was first to it. Everything was Newcastle last night. And that is down to attitude and approach. Commitment, desire, passion. It's like, we're back to speaking in cliches again. Fuck, I'm bored of that. I'm really bored of that. I'm going to go down and read a few more of your comments. I don't know what's going on with the Jim Ratcliffe announcement. I really, really don't. I wanted, and I still do, and there might not be people that agree with me now, and I can understand that. I want Ten Hag to survive through this, to survive until we have an actual football structure in place. But I have to admit that his tactical approach here, right, the biggest... Steve, big up to you, Steve, if you're watching. We've done plenty of research, and during the international break, I had a video planned, had all the research done on what Ten Hag's problems were at Ajax and how he overcame them, because it felt like that would be a kind of a important conversation for us to have. And you know what one of the biggest problems was? The rest defense. Now, what that means, of course, if you're rest defense, it means that you're out. That's when they're just your defensive line and shape when you don't have the ball, when they're not under pressure, when they're not working. How the defense stands when they're resting and waiting. Now, Ajax, that was a problem. But because the opposition, Ajax was the best team in the Eredivisie, right? Even if they lost the ball, they rarely kind of got overly exposed because the quality of the opposition just wasn't quite there. But that deep line defense is murdering us. Because it's like two opposite ends of the spectrum, both in the same tactic. Number one, you've got this really deep rest defense, way too close to the goalkeeper. And number two, actually 3 things. Number one is that. Number two, you've then got a midfield who's playing like a man-to-man press and being dragged out of position. I have no idea how that happened, all right? That bit right there. How on earth did Kobe Mainu, Bruno Fernandes, and Anthony Martial's average position end up being basically the exact same? That's problem 2. And then problem 3, you've got an aggressive front press. So like you've got different elements of that tactic that are pulling away from the other. They're not working in unison. They're not working together. Everyone's just kind of running away from their position. That's down to the man-to-man press. I mean, even look how deep Onana's position is. Everybody there is about, probably I would say 15 yards too deep. I would want and expect our defensive line to probably be around about there, right? That's where I want on my defensive line. You want your midfield to, be around about there. And then you want your attack to be around about there. Everything is just too far back, right? How does Erik fix this for Chelsea, right? So we got Chelsea in a few days. They may have had an up and down season, to be fair. What do you change? Right? There's going to be people now that I know there's going to be plenty of fans. I'm done with Erik. let's sack Erik. And I'll be like, yeah, okay. What's your plan next? Sort of exact same sort of concept as sort of like you're in a job you don't enjoy. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to quit. Oh, what? Have you found a new job? Nah, I'm just going to quit. Won't that put you in probably like a worse position than you were in before? I don't care. I'm just going to quit anyway. Would basically be what sacking Erik Ten Hag would do right now. Proper grass is greener on the other side. We have no idea. Dude, we haven't even got. We don't know who our owners are going to be in 6 weeks. We don't know who our director of football is going to be in 6 weeks. Who our CEO is going to be in 6 weeks. And you want to change a manager at that point in time? Nah, it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. We are going to have to continue riding this wave and storm, whatever you want to bloody call it. I'm going to go down here and see what you're saying about what you think maybe could or should be changed against Chelsea. Rogerio, truth be told, this bunch of players are bang average and mid-table quality, overpaid and overhyped. That team is better than what they played yesterday. All right, the players are better than what they showed yesterday. There's quite a few of them that I wouldn't want in my team in the future. Yep, I agree with you on that one. But they're better than that. Line in the sand says JC, play or go. Shaw and Varane at centre back. Mainu, Amrabat in midfield. Yeah, I think I totally agree with that. But is Ten Hag really? And this is because Ten Hag is at this point now. Is he really going to drop out? Maguire is just. And people are going to think, oh, you got some mad agenda against Maguire. There's nah. I really don't. I promise you, I don't. I criticised him so heavily last season when I felt he deserved it. Now he's been praised when he deserves it now. But if you can't see that Maguire is a big reason why we play such a deep defensive line, then you do you, right? You do you. But I don't particularly think the Varane. Can we play that much higher line with Varane? Well, probably a slightly higher one. Yeah, I think we can. Start Reguilon at left back, not Delo. Someone says down there. We have to sit deeper with these. Mount for Rashford. Mason Mount's injured, isn't he? But I think he started training on the pitch again. I'm really. It's weird how the way football works, man. Anthony's in the team, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's Erik Ten Hag's favorite boy. Oh, he never gets. Well, take him out of the team." And he finally plays. Probably, I'll be honest, like one of his better games of the season against Galatasaray. And then Anthony gets taken out, and then all of a sudden, Anthony should be starting. Get him in the team. Weird, but yeah, Rashford, man, that you can't get away. You can't. It was just so bad. Yazid saying, "Are we ready to face Liverpool?" I don't know. I'm going to Anfield on the 17th. Jeez. Hey, look, someone's mentioned it down there, right? That was an absolute cauldron yesterday for Onana. An absolute cauldron. And as a fan and supporter of my team, it just makes me want to support Onana more. It makes me want to see him come through this and just turn around to them, flip the bird at the fans and say, "What are you going to say about that then?" Do the old Maguire celebration. Remember Maguire did that? But yeah, he struggled, man. He really struggled. What's the point in signing a ball-playing goalkeeper if you're not if you're then gonna not try and play out from the back with the ball? Don't know. I think I said it. I said it midweek. It kind of feels like we probably signed Onana like a one season too early. That's what it feels like now. I don't know. That's what it feels like. Let's have a look. Players aren't wanting to support the manager. He's lost the dressing room, says Luke. And it's evident with the Martial on pitch. Just go, dude. Martial's been at this football club for 8 years, man. I swear on my life, if there's anybody that wants to come out in support of Martial, It's not going to be me. It's really not. I've got way more enough. I have a mountain of evidence for that one there. Chris has made me cough. You're genuinely suggesting playing Lindelof at central midfield. My God. Does that happen again? Are we reached the point where we can put Lindelof in midfield again? Do you not remember seeing Lindelof when he was playing left back and then he was dropping in to be the inverted midfielder? He was like, where am I? I have no idea where I am. And you're saying something's definitely off at the club. I can't fathom why certain players are throwing in the towel. Like Rashford is so connected to Manchester and he's so connected to Manchester United. But even he is putting in these sorts of performances this season. There must be more. Obviously, his brother got arrested for sexual assault charges, I think, out in America. I think he's now back with his girl. There must be, it feels like there's more to the personal story of Marcus Rashford to not justify, but to sort of explain what we're seeing or what we're not seeing. Because Ten Hag is at that point now where I wonder what he's going to do. Because truth be told, from what we've seen of Ten Hag so far, he's not going to change anything. From what we've seen, it's unlikely. We conceded 71 shots in 4 games, didn't change anything, and now we conceded 93 shots. I don't get why Ten Hag is so insanely persistent with this build-up system that's just not working. The 3-1-6 in possession. Fullback pushing up, other fullback dropping in to make 3 at the back, one holding. I know exactly what it is that Ten Hag wants this team to do, but we are so far away from it. And Ten Hag has not been able to find a place like a halfway house. Ben, you're saying you're down there. It was because he's stubborn. Oh, I absolutely think that Ten Hag is stubborn. And I think you've absolutely got to be stubborn, by the way. To be a successful manager, you have to have an element of stubbornness. Of course you do. Because if you chopped and changed yourself, Sam, do you remember when, if I remember correctly, I think this is back to David Moyes. I don't know why. I think this is because this is scarred in my mind. I think it was David Moyes playing City at Old Trafford. And I think Yaya Toure scored after like 5-6 minutes. Sod knows what it was. And David Moyes crapped himself and just changed the whole formation within like the first 7 minutes of a game. He had such little faith in what he was doing. He was like, oh, so that got to change it. And then we got mullered. So you need a massive sense of stubbornness and faith in your own system to succeed. Otherwise, Arteta would have got absolutely booted out of that club at Arsenal before he's reached that point here. But Ten Hag has just failed to find that middle ground, that halfway house between that ultimate style which he wants. To have that ultimate style he wants, you need a defense who are going to have a significantly higher line than that. And you can't do that with Maguire. And just you can't do that with the players that we've got. So they're going to have to play slightly deeper. So Ten Hag, you're going to have a slightly different, tweaked midfield. Instead, we're still playing with the one number 6, who technically that was Kobbie Mainoo yesterday. But look at his position. Can I do this again? I'm going to. Kobbie Mainoo, Martial, and Bruno Fernandes, his average position there. Where's the midfield? See how much I can move around there without actually touching a player. You know how horrendous that is. Graham saying, go and have a few pints. I'm not sure a pint's going to help me right now. Oh. Erik, please, for the love of God. It might not work, right? I'm not here saying, oh, let's do this, and all of a sudden United are going to be incredible. Please, dude, play Amrabat and midfield. Amrabat and Mainu in midfield together, please. Take McTominay out, please. Play with a slightly higher line. Does that mean that you got to play Varane there instead of Maguire? Maybe. Maybe that is the case. But please make some tweaks. You've got to tweak it now, because if you don't tweak it now, then you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. And that's what yesterday did for me. There's a lot of those problems I felt yesterday were inflicted by Ten Hag and his decisions, and the problems that it caused the structural system, just as much as it was the players themselves with a stinky attitude. All of these things are correct. Someone down there, Louis Amrabat didn't earn his place. Like, stop it, please. You're killing me. You're killing me. This midfield, lack of midfield, and the players actually operating. Like, stop this man-to-man midfield press. Just try and have like an actual compact shape. Maybe we're just trying to be a little bit too proactive, but we're not. We're not even pressing properly. Just stay in shape. Stay compact as a team, please. And put Amrabat in there instead of McTominay. Because McTominay's just going to go up for... What do you mean the ball's not coming up first? Okay, I'm run back now. It's killing me, man. It's absolutely killing me. And you sent a super chat. What are you saying, dude? Actually, Ryan, you sent me one too. I missed this one earlier. What are you saying? Oh, there'll be 250 shots conceded after Anfield. His stubbornness will cost him his job. Bayern and Anfield will be it if he persists with Rashford and McTominay. McTominay's a far, far bigger problem than Rashford is, in my opinion. But Rashford is a problem. That absolutely is a problem. You can't put Rashford on the left-hand side because Garnacho is the guy right now in terms of our attacking form. He can't really play on the right-hand side unless you play Højlund through the middle. And even then, he's not particularly enjoyable. And unless you have a right-back who's properly overlapping, when was the last time Rashford ran past a player? Damn. His dribble success rate must be abysmal right now. I have no idea what it is. And you're saying this. He's saying success is bred from a single-minded mentality. It's true, but the man that lacks flexibility eventually breaks. Ten Hag showed flexibility in adopting a more pragmatic style when like the floodgates were opening, and he's like batten down the hatches, and Man United put some results together. All right, and I said he deserves an apology because look, we're the form team in the league. Everyone knew that the performances weren't there, but at a time when the performances weren't, the results were, and that was a good trait in itself. But then you have to build on that. All right. You're Man United. That's not good enough. Good is not good enough. Ten Hag's words, not mine. And then you continue to play like we're just so open, man. It's staggering. And it's just unprofessional. And a lot of that right now is down to how Ten Hag is setting this team up now. The deep lying rest defense, the midfield, man-to-man marking, wild positioning, and just being able to play around it. And an attack which therefore has no support. And an attack which just isn't doing it either. And that is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. 3 points from our last 39 available. That's not even relegation form. That's like administration form. That's like, man, do you want to consider folding your club form? Is our next away game Liverpool? My word, I think it is. Watching United is tough. Really is. I might just watch it like this now. It's Sunday. You're supposed to be able to enjoy Sundays. Nice little lazy Sunday. I don't know. Cook a full English. Maybe go on a walk. No, it's not Bayern away. We've got Bayern at home. I think we've got Chelsea at home, Bournemouth at home, Bayern at home, and then Liverpool away, and then West Ham away. I think that's what we got. I think that's what we've got coming up. Boy. My opinion on this, if Ten Hag doesn't make changes, he's walking himself towards an exit. That from a momentum perspective in this football club, that feels like that's where we're heading. He's got to tweak the system, man. And I think personnel is a big part of it. I think the man-to-man pressing midfield is a huge part of it. Like, just stop that. I think there are tweaks that we can do. You can't change it. Look, it's Sunday and we play Chelsea on Wednesday, right? I think. You can't change an absolute ton. Boy. Now, I'm going to read a few of your comments out down here before I wrap it up and I'll go and drink a pint of vodka at 11:30 on a Sunday. I'm not going to do that. Never drink a pint of vodka. All right? No. What are we saying down here? They will definitely throw the manager under the bus. I think the thing that annoyed me the most about the attitude that I saw from the players yesterday was the last 5 minutes of the game. Because for the last 5 minutes of the game, you can actually, right, so you can play football. Oh, you can actually overlap. You do an overlapping run. Where have you been for the last 85 then? I don't know. Robert, you're saying this festive season could be a bloodbath. Yeah, well, it absolutely could be. It's Chelsea next. And if Ten Hag doesn't make any changes, Chelsea will get north of 20 shots. They're likely to score more than what we were fortunate for that to be only 1-0 yesterday. That was the positive, that was only 1-0. Joy. If we don't change anything, Chelsea are going to win. They're going to have north of 20 shots, and we're going to be so deep defensively and so open in midfield with a support that has no support, with an attack that has no support. Hoy. Bad. Got a podcast to do tonight as well. Supposed to enjoy football. Gee, not enjoying this. Potato, how you doing there, man? You're gifting 5 memberships towards the end, and it's look, this is you can't even call this a therapy room anymore. We're way past that point. We've gone through the 5 stages twice. There's 5 gifts to you yesterday. I hope if anybody who tuned in yesterday to the arms before the game, I hope you enjoyed that. Managed to speak to quite a few of you. And we all had concerns. I don't even think Newcastle did press us pretty well. Look, I'm going to wrap up now. Whoa. If you want to, you might win a PS5. It's only £1. Christmas light. I need to get like more lights. I need to get like a bigger light. I need like an up light for my Christmas tree so you can see it properly. Need a punching bag in my studio. Rip the ceiling down. Man, I have to absolutely slam that. Vincey, I'm not going to do anything like this, right? That right there is a horrendous idea. That right there is the most divisive thing that I could possibly do here on that channel, on this channel. I'm not going to do that. We can really speak it through, and we can speak about what Ten Hag could and should need to change. Hi. Right. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Okay? enjoy your Sunday as much as possible. I would say watching hopefully Spurs get pumped would make you cheer you up, but then you'll be watching City pump them. Just take a draw. Right. I'm off. I don't know what to say anymore. I really, really don't. Festive season. Very festive.